We are live. We're in Amsterdam. We're at a corner. And let's see who will stop and have a conversation with us. And if nobody will, that's okay. We can move. There's a lot of traffic. You guys want to try a social experiment? Hey Jonas, Jonathan, nice to see you here. It's gonna rain in like an hour and a half. So I came a little bit early to try and do some outreach. Because otherwise I couldn't do outreach at all today. So freaking Dutch weather. Can you hear me okay, Jonas? Kind of busy, so we'll keep you in the background. Love it. Hey, you want to try a social experiment?
Yeah.
I just ask you some questions. Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Of course.
Well, then come here. It's, nice. What's your name?
My name is Emma.
Emma. You want to come a little bit closer so that you're in view, Emma? There you go. Love it. What? How old are you?
I am 10 years old.
10 years old. I'm Chip, Emma. Nice to meet you. I'm 37.
Okay.
Let me ask you, Emma, how do you feel about animals?
I have a dog. Her name is Mila. So I think that dog is really a friend that you can be like really friend like a person. A dog is like a person. You can talk with her or him, and it's fantastic.
Interesting. So a dog is like a person. That's how you see them. You see them as a person. So you see them as a member of your family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything particular about them that makes you feel that way about them?
That they can hear you and help you in the moment maybe not really fine. So animals is fantastic.
Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, so do you feel like the same could be true of other animals, like maybe cats?
Yeah, of course. Cats maybe is a little bit more angry or more. Um, I don't know, but don't not like a dog, more happy or other things. And other animal, I my favorite animals is the tiger because it's fantastic.
Oh.
The tiger is an animal that have that is not bad or maybe angry sometimes. It's good because she be like protective or something else. It's beautiful animals.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I sit here and I try to speak on behalf of animals. And you are right, like cats and dogs, you see them as persons, which is lovely. But do you think like the other animals, like cows, chickens, and pigs, are also kind of like people?
Yeah, it's more like the person don't see that animals like animals more like dog or cat, but they are also animals, so it's important to be care also of that.
Okay. Do you think it's fair that we, for these particular animals, for cows, chickens, and pigs, that we exploit them? Do you know what exploiting means?
No.
So it means that we use them without them giving us consent to use
Okay.
them, and we use them for our own benefit, and
Okay.
even if it harms them, right?
Okay.
Do you think it's fair that we do this to them?
No, because they are animals and like others animal, so it's not good that we do this.
Exactly, exactly. And I mean, I think you know why we do this to them, right? For food, for clothing.
Yeah,
for...
that for exactly for our our good, our dress, also food, and it's not correct.
But we can always choose other things, can't we?
hmm Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So then, if we're not choosing other things, aren't we being unfair towards these animals?
Yeah, we are going to help that animals and also being more good the more I don't know, but yes, is correct.
Have you ever heard of vegans?
Yeah,
Are you a vegan yourself?
no.
Can I ask why not? Because you seem to think that these animals deserve to not be exploited, as we discussed. So,
Yeah, I don't because I don't know why. Maybe for me it's difficult or something else, but I know people that are so. Yeah,
but who do you think is more difficult, for you or for the victims of your choices, like the animals?
more difficult for the animals.
It's more difficult for the animals. So
Yeah.
then, you think that when we make choices, should we consider also them?
Yeah, we have to consider also them, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a good thing to do, and I support people that are vegan.
But like, so I appreciate that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It doesn't really matter if you support vegans or not, right? What matters is that what your actions do to these animals, right? Like, if you choose to buy an animal product, whether that is food, clothing, or let's say entertainment, you go to a zoo or something.
Okay.
Do you think that all these animals are then treated like objects or like individuals?
Like individuals because they feed them and also take care about. But
Do you
yeah.
know at what age they kill them, for example?
No. I. Can you restate the question, please?
Yeah. Do you know at what age they kill these animals?
No, I don't.
So, for example, chickens,
Yeah.
who we eat, can live up to 10 years. And do you know what age farmers kill them at?
No.
Between 42 days and 6 weeks, something like 6 to 7 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. That's insane, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's bad.
Is that really us taking care of them?
Yeah, we have to take care about them, and maybe in the farm is a place where they is happy about it.
But do you think that if we kill them like at this young age, are we really taking care of them?
No.
No. And let me put it this way too, because for example, cows that produce milk. Do you know why cows produce milk?
Yeah, for their baby.
Exactly. So do you think that on the farms, that farmers let them decide when they want to go pregnant, or do you think that farmers decide for them?
Farmer decide for them.
Exactly. Is that fair?
No,
No, exactly. And when the babies are born, what do you think happens to them?
that they kill them or something that is not the don't have the mother because the milk is for the farmer.
Exactly. So they separate them from their mothers. They take them away from their mothers so that they don't drink the milk. And if they're born male, they don't produce any milk, so they're considered useless. So indeed, they kill them. And if they're born female, every year they impregnate them like their mothers. They take away their babies like their mothers and use them for their milk. And at some point, they kill them. Do you know when they kill them?
No, I don't.
When they can no longer get them pregnant.
Ah, that's not right.
No. So is this taking care of them? But when we buy animal products, we are essentially telling the farmers, do everything that you're doing so that I keep getting my product. You understand that?
Okay,
So
that's not right.
yeah, that's not right. So then when we buy animal products, what we're essentially not taking care of these animals, but we're actually treating them like objects, are we not?
Okay.
Yeah. So do you see now why people are vegan, for example?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Would you consider going vegan yourself?
I don't know. I will think about it.
You will think about it. Okay. Well, you seem like a compassionate person. I appreciate you. You seem to love animals. I'm just gonna give you like a card. You can look into it yourself, and you can think for yourself. If you wanna see, you're kinda young, so maybe don't watch Dominion, but maybe your parents will watch it. But the most important speech you'll ever hear, it's not gruesome. It's okay, I think, to watch with kids. If you want to watch that, you can also hear the conversation that you just had with me back. You have my YouTube channel there.
Okay.
Can you promise me you'll watch the most important speech you'll ever hear? Just to
Okay.
learn a little bit more, because you seem like a compassionate person, and animals deserve more compassionate people on their side. Okay?
course.
What's your name?
Emma.
Emma. I'm Chip. Nice to meet you, Emma.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. You wanna do the social experiment?
Yeah, sure.
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you come closer so that you're in view? Nice, love it. What are your names?
My name is Rim. And my name is Marian.
Okay. Where are you girls from?
I'm from Morocco, but we're from DA.
Ah, well, you live here in
Yeah,
the
we live in
Oh, okay, okay, perfect. Okay, so let me ask you, how do you feel about animals?
Good.
Good. do you think animals deserve moral consideration? And by that I mean that if our actions impact them, then we should consider their well-being.
Yes, of
Yes,
course.
definitely.
Definitely. Okay, okay. Does this apply to all animals or only the animals that you like?
All
No,
animals.
all
are-
animals.
All animals.
Yes, but I feel that in the Netherlands it's improving, so it would be really good if other countries took example as well.
If only.
Yeah.
If only. Well, let me ask you this, because a lot of the times when we think about animals, we think about the animals that we like, right? Some wild animals that we pick that we like, and then and dogs and cats for the animals that
Yeah.
we do like in our house, right?
Yeah.
But the cows, the chickens, the pigs, do you think they deserve moral consideration?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Of course, right. So, do you know, for example, what happens to dairy cows in the dairy industry?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very like it's awful. Like they're there only for their milk and they're separated from their infants and everything.
Yeah. And do you think is that us giving them moral consideration when
Of
we're
course
doing
not.
that? No. No, exactly. So when you say that you think animals deserve moral consideration, if you're consuming animal products, do you think that you're going against this very value that you say you have?
Yeah, but it depends because I think there's also a possibility for us to like try and like think about where we're sourcing our food from, and like we always have this choice that we can make to try and like provide like source our food from more maybe respectable and people that take more care of animals, for example. I know it's maybe difficult, but the idea, I think I do understand the point you're trying to make, like that it really I understand that it is a bit ironic too, because it would still go against a bit of our own morals. But the idea is still that if we're, I do agree that I think if we want to still continue to consume like such a products, I think there is still a way to continue with our own morals and still be able to well use animal products and not completely.
Is there any way to consume meat, for example?
Well, I believe it should be a responsible consumption. So it's
Yeah.
making sure where it's coming from and how, because I think that stopping all the consumption of meat and animal products would be quite unrealistic in a way. So I
For
guess-
an individual? No, it's not. I mean, I'm vegan. There's
yeah,
several
that's
vegans
really
on this
good.
planet.
That's
yeah.
really good. But like
But-
for the whole world, I think that the best option is to make a responsible consumption.
But what about for yourselves? Because we can speak about the whole world and it's
Yeah.
difficult. You know, when it comes to the whole world, the problems become monumentally bigger and it's totally different approach than it is to each individual at a side, right? Like you as individuals can make changes yourselves and can make choices for yourself. You cannot make choices for the world, right?
Yeah,
So
of
for yourselves, your values are in the right place. You say animals should be morally considered. But when we are killing them, let's say in the most ideal farm you can imagine, we are still breeding them to life ourselves because that's what farming implies, and then killing them, right? So
Yes, well-
is any of this morally consideration?
I think on my part, I believe that I would still, like in an ideal world, well, I would be like following to the most of my capabilities, my values, my own values. What I would do, well, would be, which is what I'm kind of trying to do at the moment, is kind of I think there's really a point that we can make by trying to really just the idea of where we source our products, and I don't think that killing animals necessarily goes against our own values. I believe that really, like I agree with her, it's really the idea that if we consume in a necessary manner, it's okay because it's not.
What if it's not
overconsumption.
necessary?
But it's yeah, I agree that for some you might not consider it necessary.
Well,
but it's
no,
kind of
I'm
the
actually
way.
a certified nutritionist. Animal products are not necessary for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We live in you live in the Netherlands. You have seen there's several other products we can buy out of
Yeah, of
animal
course.
products,
Yeah,
right?
many of them are imported. That's also something
Yeah,
we should consider because
and-
then if you're protecting animals but you're destroying the planet,
Well,
it's
regardless, even
not-
if you're going to
yeah.
import something from South America, it's still going to be better than like
better for who?
beef. Better for the environment also. Like you don't have to trust me on this. You can look it up.
Yeah,
Like
no, you're
the
right.
fact of the matter, a lot of the times when we consume animal products, we forget that these animals we have to grow a fuck ton of food to feed them. You know, like a cow eats monumentally more than we do, and we think, well, they eat grass. We don't eat grass, but no, they are actually fed. Even here in the Netherlands,
Yeah.
40% of their diet is comprised of soy and corn, which
Yeah,
are
of
both.
course.
They can
Thank
make
you.
food for us, right?
But like if we were to for example, imagine that we were to have like our own farm. If we were to raise our own chicken, for example, would that still be have such an important cost?
Let me ask you this way: you respect dogs and cats, right?
Yeah, of course.
If I make my own farm where I raise dogs for the sole purpose of killing them at a young age so that their meat is still good, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, for me, it like.
Am I
think-
respecting the dogs when I'm doing this?
Well, no, I understand that maybe not, but I still agree with what we said before, that the idea is really to be able to, well, not consume, not to over-consume. Like, the idea is that I agree with the idea that we should let them live.
From your
live,
perspective
Yeah, from
is-
my
Yeah,
perspective,
sure.
Yeah.
like that we should like let them live longer. If we were dogs, I mean, like let them live longer so that they can still have a life.
But what
the
about
idea
from
is,
the perspective of the animals? Regardless of how long we let them live, we eventually still kill them. We again still sexually exploit them to bring them to life.
Yes.
Is any of that okay from the perspective of the animals?
I am for protecting the animals, but not humanizing them.
Well, it's not humanizing. Let me put it this way. So 1 out of 1,000 people are born with a rare brain disease that causes them to have absolutely no capability for rationalizing, for logic, for any of this. It's called anencephaly, something like that. It's 1 out of 1,000 are born like that, right? So there's a lot of people on this planet. So you can imagine there's a lot of people born out with this disease, right?
Yeah.
These people have the cognitive abilities
Yeah.
of an animal, exactly the same. Actually, some of them have less cognitive capabilities than a cow, a chicken, or a pig.
Well,
So would it be okay for us to take these individuals, these humans, bring them to life and kill them instead of killing chickens,
no,
since
you,
they would
you
be
can
providing
take
more meat?
humanity from a human.
Yeah, I
No,
think
but
it's
what
a bit
exactly
difficult
is this
to- I
difference?
think you're a bit merging a bit more subjects into one, because it's not
Yeah.
the same thing. Like that would
Well,
be
what's the
cannibalism to kill another human.
Doesn't matter. This is carnism, right? Like us giving it a term doesn't necessarily make it good or bad. The reason why
Yeah,
it's
of
bad to
course.
harm a human being is because we know they would feel the consequences of the harm being us doing
Not
it onto
necessarily
them,
to
right?
me. It'd be bad to kill them, to eat them, because it's more sense to the morals. Like
Yeah, they're
it's
humans.
as
Why
if
is
I
it
were
bad to
killing-
kill a human?
Because it's as if I would be killing my own kin.
Yeah,
Well, so it's only because you can empathize with them more.
because they're humans.
Yeah, because they're.
So because you can empathize with
Yeah,
them
because
more.
it could be me. You know.
But what if there's a human being who cannot empathize? They just have a condition that they cannot empathize. Would it be okay for that human being to kill other humans?
No, because it's human.
But again, like if we repeat this because they're human, this is just a species. This is just the categories that we created, right? Like if we
No,
divide.
it's natural categories, not we created them.
No, it is.
Like,
It
we
merely
didn't
just- it
appear
merely-
and said, okay, these are humans, and these are animals. They
No.
are animals, and we are.
We are also animals, by the way. We are mammals.
Yeah,
We are
of
all
course.
part of. So
Yeah,
if you
but
look
we're
at this
different
categorization, should we exploit and slaughter mammals?
Well, the way I'm seeing it is like with the example you just made, that if I was seeing a dog which would kill another dog to eat the other dog, I would still feel that would be weird. So why doesn't that apply to humans?
Oh,
too?
well, okay, let me put it this way. What if I wasn't human? What if my DNA is so different that I cannot possibly produce fertile offspring with any human being? Because that's what the same species means. It just means we can produce fertile offspring, right?
Yeah.
So what if I cannot produce fertile offspring with somebody? My DNA is so different. I'm just such a big variation. I'm no longer human. I look like how I look. I rationalize how I rationalize. I speak how I speak. But I'm not human. Would that mean I can kill other human beings and slaughter them?
Well, I guess it'd be weird.
It would be weird, but I'm just trying to understand this. It's a hypothetical, of course,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But the reason why I pose this is because I'm trying to understand the values, because you seem to think that the only reason why it's bad to kill a human being is because a human being killing a human being is bad. But the reality is, even if an animal were to kill a human being, you would find it bad, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
we,
think-
we have like too much high standard for humans in general.
Well, or
I-
because we give value to humans,
No,
right?
exactly. We do give value to humans, and I guess that's because we are humans. And in the world, I think that in the world we live in, humans are kind of superior. I
Does
mean,
the- but does that-
whether we admit
Yeah,
it or
you-
not,
No,
we
not all
are.
human beings are superior. And
No,
first
it's not
of
that
all,
we're superior, that we put ourselves on a pedestal.
First, yeah.
but let me ask you this, because all of this, all your values seem to think that all that matters is the extrinsic value, the value that you place on individuals, right? If we place value on humans, therefore humans have moral value. But if I personally as an individual do not place moral value on humans for whatever reason, doesn't really matter. Does that mean that I would be acting morally if I would be killing other
Well,
humans?
I think that's like talking about history, for example. There was a moment where animals were like gods, for example, and humans less, so they would sacrifice humans to protect the animals.
The only reason why I ask this is because extrinsic value, the value that we place on
Yeah.
individuals, doesn't really matter, right? Like if you to it or me to you, I am nothing to you, right? Like you will go on with your day, going
If I
about
kill
doing.
you and eat you,
No, let me just put it this way. I have zero value to you. If tomorrow I die or in a week, it doesn't really impact you because you don't know me, you don't know who I am. I have zero value to you, right?
Yeah.
The same I can say about yourselves, right?
Yeah.
You don't really matter to me in my moral value system, right?
Yeah, of course.
However, I would not harm you because I acknowledge that you have a desire to live. You have value on your own. Your life means everything to you, just like my life means everything to me. It's the same for an animal. Their life means everything to them, just like my life means everything to me. Just because they cannot speak like us, walk like us, or they look different to us, do you think all these three reasons are good enough reasons to exploit and slaughter them?
Yes. No.
Really?
No, my bad. No, it's just the idea. It's like I believe you're forcing emotions into animals because
They have emotions. They're sentient.
Yeah, of course, but it's not the same.
Yeah, they have pretty much similar. They
Okay,
want to. They feel
Can you be
love.
certain that they have a desire to live?
That they have sentience. Yeah, we're certain of that. There's two declaration of sentience, two declaration of consciousness written by Nobel laureates and renowned physicists, both from Cambridge and New York University, and they all acknowledge that animals are sentient.
For sure, that's why we're against slaughtering them. I do agree.
Yeah.
However, I think that, like, reducing it to zero wouldn't be possible.
But if you're against slaughtering,
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
So if you do it once a week, are you still against slaughtering? Aren't you still against going this value of saying I'm against? Like let me put it this way, I'm against beating up women, but I beat up women once a week. Am I
that's
really
not the
against
same.
that
That's
beating
not
up?
the same.
It's the same. It's the same logic. You understand the logic? If I say I'm against X,
No way.
It's not the same thing.
it's the same logic. If I say I'm against
No,
a
it's
certain,
not the
let me
same
put it this way. If I say I'm against driving, but then I drive once a week, am I against driving? No. If I say I'm against an action, but I do that action
I'm
once a
against
week,
excessive slaughtering. That would be better put.
excessive slaughtering.
That would be better.
What is
put,
excessive
for example.
slaughtering?
If it's unnecessary.
So all of it is unnecessary, therefore.
But that's your point of view.
No. This is medical renowned.
No.
This is you know what the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is? It's the largest organization of nutritionists and dietetics on this planet.
Yeah.
It's got thousands of members. It is in no way a vegan or a vegetarian organization, and they have out of thousands of studies, they have made their position that a vegan diet is suitable for all ages and stages of life. We don't need animal products to thrive. We can survive, thrive, be extremely healthy without doing any of this to animals. So we don't need to kill them. We don't need to exploit them.
That's good. If you don't feel a need to do it, that means
It's not that I don't feel it. That's the objective
Okay.
truth. We
Well,
don't need
that's
to.
great then. That if there are people that consume less, that's good. That's less slaughtering.
But
that's
consuming
great.
less, it's still part of an injustice because you're still exploiting and slaughtering a sentient being when you don't need to do it at all. Even once a week doing it, it's still bad because you're doing something that you say you're against.
Oh no, I didn't say I'm against the consumption of meat. No,
No.
I never
Are you
said
against?
that.
You said you're against slaughter of
Yeah.
animals, right? So, well, that's a part of it, isn't it? If you're against slaughtering of animals, is it okay to slaughter animals once? You're against it. Are you really against it? Being against it means no slaughter. It doesn't mean well once or twice.
That's why I said excessive. Anyway.
But
let's
excessive,
be-
you said if
yeah.
it's not optional, so it's all
Okay,
excessive.
I really see that we're not going anywhere. So
But where is it
I
that you're
think-
denying?
yeah,
What is it
okay,
that you're
I think
denying
that
out of
just
this?
As a conclusion, it's simply two points of view that are clashing. I totally
I don't have a
respect
point of
your-
view. Everything I
No, you don't have a point
no,
of
no, no.
view.
Everything that I mentioned so
everything-
far
no, no,
is
everything
objective.
Everything said is a point of view.
So what is my point of view?
Your point of view? Let's stop consuming meat.
No, my point of view is that animals are sentient beings.
Yeah.
They are
Therefore,
they are
let's
beings
stop
who have
consuming
emotions, who
Yeah.
have feelings,
Yeah.
who think, who feel, who dream, who feel love,
Are you saying
who
that's
feel
not a
have
point of view?
families. No, these all these
No,
these
no.
descriptions are things that animals have.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
but it's
objective.
still-
It's not a subjective thing.
No,
It's not
no.
my point of
Yeah,
view.
I do agree with you. First
Okay,
of all,
okay.
the first moment I open my mouth, it is a point of view. The first moment you start speaking,
No,
it
no,
is a
no.
point
You
of view.
can say objective things. If I say that this is water, this is not my
Yeah,
this is
I
not
do
my
agree. But then
opinion.
If we
It's
go,
it's
if we
an
go all
objective
about
thing.
that, then it's like philosophers and everyone. This one would think it's water. This one would think it's life. It's okay. I think that it's like two ways of living that clash.
But that's exactly it. What you're
It's-
doing right now
yeah.
is you're minimizing the truth. What you're doing right
No.
now is you're minimizing the idea that all these animals are sentient, and you're trying to say, well, it's my opinion versus your opinion.
am I
But the
saying I'm
reality is
superior?
like this.
Yes.
The reality is like this. All these animals are sentient just like you are.
Yeah.
You are exploiting and slaughtering them for optional products because you enjoy it and because you have some form of
Well,
you,
the
you
day they'll
derive,
come
derive
speaking
some
to
form
me-
of
the day
pleasure
they'll
from
come
it.
speaking to me,
But is it bad? Like, I mean, that's the kind of the way the world works. So I mean.
Well, that's the way the world worked. The way the world worked also
But I
100 years
also-
ago was where women didn't
I
have
also
rights.
understand- well-
200 years ago, the world worked where there was a
Then
lot of
see you in
slavery.
100 years
It
or
doesn't
maybe
really
it'll be-
matter
No,
how the
of
world
course-
works.
no, I
It's just you
understand.
got to ask yourself
I
which
get
part
that.
of
Sorry,
injustice
I get that
you
the
have to
argument
be.
is bad, but like, what I want to say is is that we all have our points of view. Like we said, even if you don't agree that those are points of view, like Rim said, they are. And just I think the idea is that maybe you're coming on too strong on us right now, and that it's not really maybe the way you should be doing it, because
What
I
is it that I
understand-
can say that you stop
Sorry.
exploiting animals?
Sorry, can I speak? My bad. But yeah, just what I wanted to say is that I understand from my point of view. I agree with most of what you said. I think it is really important that today we get and that we should be conscious of what we're doing at the moment, because like I understand that it's bad, and I do understand also that it's not a necessity, but also the idea is I think you're coming on too strong, and that by doing so you might not be helping your cause, because what we're trying to say is that we do agree that excessive slaughter should not happen. We do agree that it's
So no
bad for-
slaughter.
Well, sorry,
All of it
can
is
I-
excessive.
Sorry. So not excessive slaughter, but then the idea also is that if we're trying to, the idea is to reduce. Okay, it's
No.
it's always yes,
It's not.
to reduce, because it's the
It's
first
not.
step. Yeah, but you,
Is
what
any
you-
injustice? So the idea is to stop. What you're saying is that, well, I need steps towards stopping, but the idea is to stop.
The idea is
If
to
you're
stop.
participating in an injustice, the idea is not for you to participate less in this injustice, but to stop this injustice at all.
Okay, if you like metaphors, I'll give you one. If you do you drive?
No.
No. Well, have you ridden a bike?
Yeah.
If you stop, if you hit the brake from your full speed to 0, what will happen if you hit the front brake, for example?
Well, inertia will make me, but eventually I
fall.
will stop.
You're
Not
gonna fall.
necessarily,
Okay,
but like
you
let
need
me-
to slow down. You need to slow down to be able to come to a stop.
Well, yeah,
And
well,
that's just-
but that's
and we
physics,
understand your
isn't
point.
it?
I don't understand what you're trying to do, because we're agreeing with you in some parts, and you're just trying to have an argument.
You don't
about
agree with
something.
me, because what you seem to saying is that it's okay to objectify animals once a week because you're
No.
having difficulty stopping objectifying them.
I don't think you're understanding, because like in my
Killing
opinion,
them for optional products is objectifying them. Exploiting them is objectifying them, yes. Yeah. Like you
Okay,
don't have to trust me
okay,
on this
okay,
one, but
okay, I think that maybe so that you can keep going with your day, and same here. I wish you very good luck.
let me just
promoting
give you
your
a card.
cause.
You should watch the conversation you just had with me back to
Yeah,
kind of see
I'm
to kind of
against,
see the
byproducts and everything, because like that's
Yeah.
like
just and
Discrimination.
listen, just I know I may have frustrated you. My intent was not that.
No,
My
it's
intent
not,
was
yeah,
just
yeah,
that-
like
It's
we
not
truly what we're
frustrating.
trying to say is that I completely understand your point, and like honestly I'm even trying to stop to eat meat and everything, because I do agree the principle. I think it's bad even for the environment. I agree. I just
Yeah, but
think
it's not about it's about them. It's about the individuals, about the injustice done towards animals.
I can also have
understand all
other-
these
other
other
motivations.
causes. Yeah, I understand, but like imagine this. Imagine there's an injustice in this world. One person is beating their wife, and they say, "I'm gonna stop because my fist hurts." It's kind of fucked up. Yes, it's good for the wife if he stops, but that's not the reason to stop. You see what I mean? Like that's also what I'm trying to tell you here.
I'll
The
take
reason
the
we
card,
should stop
and
exploiting
I'll say
animals.
that I think your comparisons are not well placed.
It's
many
okay if you
times.
don't like them.
And
It's
no,
there's
no,
a
it's not that I
logical
don't like
belief
them.
about
It's not
them.
that I don't like them. I just think that some logics can't be applied everywhere the way you're.
Well, logical
doing it.
consistency
But
is regardless of the
I-
victim's
but I do
species
agree
or not.
That for
Can you
example,
look about the word syllogism? It's a lot of what
Yeah,
you're doing,
yeah.
and it's a rhetorical technique used oftentimes by politicians, but it's not maybe the good way.
That's
to
not
do
what
it.
I'm doing. The only thing where we clash is you seem to think that humans are this vastly superior being that deserves so much more than animals, but you forget that we are all animals.
No, I understand.
And just because we have developed higher intelligence and you think we're superior, far be it from me to judge that. I'm not here to judge your belief system about that. What I'm here to say is that just because even if we consider us superior, it doesn't mean that we have the right to exploit even one single being for something that is essentially optional to us. Just promise me you'll watch, just to know what I'm talking about, either Dominion or the most important speech you'll ever hear, and then you can also watch the conversation back. I literally, my whole intention is to say reducing it can seem like the right idea from your perspective, but from the perspective of the animals that are
Yeah.
still going into slaughterhouses for you, reducing it means nothing to them.
I understand. I'm excited to see whether maybe in few years this way it's gonna work. I mean, I'd be glad because I mean, whether it be your method or ours, the goal is for them
If
to
you
have
want to
a
do
better life,
activism,
you know?
please, that would be amazing. I don't like,
Uh,
please don't
Well,
like.
if I were to do it, not your way.
I
Sincerely.
appreciate that. It doesn't matter.
But-
Whatever type of activism you want to speak up for animals, I don't mind that. As long as you don't participate in it and you try to speak up for animals, that is freaking amazing, and I will respect your way no matter what. Okay?
Well, have a very nice day.
Have a good
and,
one.
Yeah, have a good one.
Wow. It's okay. I mean, you know, that's the thing. When cognitive dissonance sets in, it's kind of difficult to have conversations anymore. And maybe I'm also a little bit in like, I was direct, but that's okay. You know, it's okay to be direct sometimes. Some people need to see the directness of it. They need to understand the importance of it, you know? They need to understand that animals are sentient beings, that we cannot just exploit and slaughter them. Your opinion that they're inferior means nothing because they're not inferior. Animals are not inferior to us, just like you are not superior to anybody else. Okay, just because I'm more intelligent than somebody doesn't mean I'm superior to them, just because, or my way of defining intelligence also. So, yeah. I see a lot of people who are upset in the comments. That's okay, man. That's okay. You can be upset. Just please stop exploiting animals. That's it. We're here to speak on behalf of animals. We're here to get people to stop exploiting animals. Vegan Felak asks, what did you find to eat, by the way? Vegan Felak, I did not. I wanted to go to Albert Heijn and get like a sandwich, but eventually I just grabbed the protein bar that I had in my backpack and ate it while I was biking here. Andy Smith says they destroyed you. Andy Smith, you are welcome to debate me if you think they destroyed me. You seem to think that that you are right about it, so that's okay. Just go, come on, debate me. And by the way, your opinion doesn't really matter because no, they did not. But that's kind of funny. You know what's funny is because people they really want their own belief system, your own value, where you're at in life. You really want others to defend your position. That you really want others to be right about your position because it would confirm your position, right? It would confirm that, hey, you know what? Eating animal products is not that bad. If you see it, it confirmed. I was confirmed by this person who destroyed this other person. Like, as you say, right? Because that's what you think, that they destroyed me. But even in that situation, isn't that you just playing into your own confirmation bias? Shouldn't you be looking for ways to not confirm your own bias? Shouldn't you be looking for ways to think a little bit for yourself and not just look for ways to... You want to try a social experiment? I'm just saying. Look for ways to disconfirm your bias, not ways to confirm your bias. Look for ways that you can literally see if you want to see if your value system is on point, look for ways that disprove your value system. That's it. That's it. That's the way you go about it. That's the typical critical thinking way to do things. You don't just look, even studies, well, the good studies are not done by trying to do research while looking for a directive, but rather looking for nothing and seeing the outcome of it and drawing conclusions from that. Andy Smith says you're talking to yourself, brother. I mean, Andy Smith, it seems like you're listening, so there you go. I'm not actually talking to myself. Okay, well, I welcome everybody. I welcome absolutely everybody to debate me. Everybody who thinks I am wrong. After all, if I'm wrong, you could easily destroy me, right? Imagine that. Imagine thinking it's okay to exploit and slaughter sentient beings because you've been doing it your whole life, because that's what you were taught. Imagine that. Andy Smith, I will debate you from home, of course. Not on the street, no. We set up a date, we set up a certain time, and then we debate. So many snowflakes in the chat. That's okay, everybody. That's okay. As long as you think about how exploitation is wrong and how you shouldn't be part of needlessly exploiting innocent sentient beings, I don't really care about your opinion on me. I'm here to speak about animals, not myself. So, yeah, your opinion of me literally means not a lot. I'm just saying. I'm here to speak for animals. So tell me, Andy, or what was your name? Yeah, Andy Smith. Andy Smith, tell me, do you think it's okay to exploit innocent animals for optional products? Okay, Brandon, let me ask you this, Brandon. Do you think it's okay to exploit innocent sentient beings for optional products? MCS says every product is optional. No, MCS, you will die if you don't eat. So no, not every product is optional. Dagame says, yes, of course it is. So Dagame, then it's okay to exploit human beings, exploit and slaughter human beings for optional products, right? Because human beings are sentient beings, right? And Brandon said yes also. So again, it's okay to exploit and slaughter human beings for optional products because human beings are sentient beings. And yes, wow. Talk about privilege, huh? Somebody having so much privilege that thinks it's okay to exploit sentient beings. Talk about that, man. Chance Davis asks, Chips, how do you feel about pescatarians like me? Well, fish feel pain. They don't want to be exploited and slaughtered for optional products. So you should not be exploiting and slaughtering fish for optional products. You should not be asphyxiating fish to death just because you're enjoying the taste of their flesh. No. Do you eat shellfish? No, of course I don't eat shellfish. I respect all sentient beings. Chip has a job, he can choose his own hours. Exactly, Tone. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, I don't really have Alexandra's folder with me because I left in a hurry. But I remember that I do have the other one, which does show all the levels of exploitation that animals endure. You see? All of this. Which exploitation do you support, huh? Maybe Chip was a pig in his past life. Maybe there's no such thing as past life, and I'm just a being who respects other beings and fights for the rights of others. I know it can seem impossible for some of you to think of the idea that somebody will fight for the rights of sentient beings, even
Hello.
if... Hi.
Hi.
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Huh?
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Okay, for a while. I'm going to Vancouver very soon.
Just ask you some questions, that's it.
Okay.
Can you come a little bit closer? Yeah, nice. What's your
Hi,
name?
my name is Maya.
Maya, nice to meet you. I'm Chip.
Hi.
So, Maya, I don't know if it was kind of a weird handshake there.
Hi.
So, Maya, how do you feel about animals?
Oh, I love them.
You love
I
them?
love them. They are more nice than people.
They are more nice than
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
Okay. Do you think that animals deserve moral consideration? And by that I mean that if our actions impact them, then we should consider their well-being.
Of course.
Of course.
That's
okay.
why I start to eat more vegetarian food.
Okay.
I started to do this in January when we have this veggie challenge
Oh, like
in January, and
yeah.
it's been very hard to change
Veganuary.
back to
So are you vegan right now?
Not completely. I'm making vegan food at home, but if I'm traveling, I can't find, then I can take something else. But that's my first option. Always I choose.
Okay. Do you think it's a moral obligation that people become vegan so that we don't exploit animals?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
And while you were in Amsterdam, have you had any difficulties being vegan?
No.
No, it's easy, right?
It's so easy.
It's
so easy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The reality is no matter where we are, we have solutions. And if we're in a place where we feel hungry or something like that and there's nothing, we can always choose to abstain and then until we find another place. Like that's what I did personally because I feel like even if I'm hungry and I eat, like a human body can survive anyway a couple of days without eating.
Yeah, and even if you don't find something, you can go to grocery store. There are everything.
Exactly.
Salads, blah blah.
Exactly.
I saw yesterday one man here eating pizza in a park. So what I also not so warm as main summer, but it's not even cold. So always
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, because can you really love animals if you pay for them to go to slaughterhouses?
Yeah, and I have saw those videos what they do them. It's so cruel. It's so cruel, really.
It is.
So cruel.
It is. Yeah. Well, I mean, you seem to be on the right track. You seem to be one of doing everything. Is
Yeah,
there
because
anything?
it's very, very difficult me to when I go somewhere and there is no anymore like option. Then I kind of few times I have take something else and then I get a huge kind of regret after.
I get
So
that.
that tell
Yeah.
me all, and then I say that I don't have to make those choices.
Yeah, and you know, like I'm vegan also, and what I do is I always look ahead when I'm going, and if the
Yeah, me too. I have watched this Google Maps. They show everything.
yeah, exactly, and if there's some difficulty, I'm just like I'll just buy a sandwich from a store, as you said, and I'll always have it.
Yeah,
with me or
yesterday I bought banana and a smoothie from the
Albert
central
Heijn?
station.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yes, because I
Nice.
couldn't find. I was quickly to find my hotel because I came yesterday. I bought banana and this smoothie. The banana cost €1 and smoothie €2 something.
But okay, and just to be clear, that we're on the same page, we understand that both milk and cheese,
I
eggs,
use oat milk or soy
Yeah.
milk.
and cheese and eggs, they're just as bad for the animals. we
No,
understand.
I don't use them.
Oh, okay, okay.
My stomach even doesn't like them.
Okay, well, I appreciate you. Then
Yeah.
I think you're doing
I
great
have
then.
I have learned finally make tofu delicious.
Tofu's delicious, isn't
Yeah,
it? It's-
because I didn't give up. I was learning and learning and learning until I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Let me give you a card either way.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe you could watch the most important speech you'll ever hear. I don't know if you've watched that. It's very nice to watch, even as a
I have
vegan
to check.
person.
I have to
Yeah.
check.
And you have a thing there called Challenge 22.
What?
Just like Challenge 22, it's called. Just like Veganuary, like you had Veganuary. Challenge 22 is the same thing, but for 22 days, they hook you up with a nutritionist, send you recipes every day.
Yeah,
and
they
help you
sent.
with it.
They sent. It was all January and it's continued. I still get those emails.
Ah, you still get, yeah.
and I'm in Facebook. I'm in this vegetarian challenge.
Yeah.
I'm on the extended group. So it's continue. And that's what inspires me or more. I hear different recipes, different products. And even this, we have this one, oh my God, still time. This kind of, I don't know how to say it in English, but it's not chicken, but it's made from some kind of bean product.
Soy?
No, it's not soy. It's kind of a bull bean or something, bull bean. It looks like chicken, and it tastes amazing. You just try it. You can use it in salad, on stews, everything.
Interesting.
That's my one of favorite thing from the bull bean.
I love it. I love it.
I
And
love
while
it.
I mean, okay, well, is there any difficulty for you to be vegan right
No,
now? No.
Nothing.
No. So
No, nothing. I even have to say I even eat better.
you even eat better.
Eat better. More vitamins, more energy.
And
to
keep
be
in
too.
mind that being vegan is not about the food. It's not about us. It's about the animals.
Yeah. It's also for us.
It also helps
Because
us.
I see all those horrible videos about what parasites you can get those, and that is also it's creeping my mind. I don't want to put my body something which I can give parasites.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That is also for my
Yeah.
mind.
But like veganism as a definition, it's about the animals. That's
Yeah,
it.
animals,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Because like imagine it's unfair what we do to them, right?
It is, and it's like a killing factory.
Exactly.
And I see how cows are crying.
They
They understand what's going to happen. It's same like I would be put to Auschwitz.
It's
as I
exactly
just-
the same. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for having this conversation with
Thank
me.
you. It was nice to meet you.
Keep on doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And yeah, check out the conversation you had with
Yeah, I
me.
will
You
check
have my
that.
YouTube channel and
Yes,
everything.
thank
Okay?
you. Take
Cheers.
care.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. Yeah, I feel like she was there, right? She was trying to be vegan. And I don't think there's anything I can say to people like that. I think she was saying that, oh, if there's nothing there, but then we went through that, and yeah, nice lady. Where was she from? Yeah, I don't know exactly where was she from, to be honest, but yeah. I see now that we meet a vegan person who confirms all these beliefs. Everybody in the chat has left. All these trolls have left. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It's already like started raining a little bit, and we have 40, maybe 45 minutes left until it's gonna start raining even more. Oh, Benji says they're still here. Okay. Chip, you and that lady in white look the same age. Yeah. Hi. You want to try the social experiment?
Sure.
Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course.
What's your name?
Gonçalo. Gonçalo.
Gonçal. Where are you from?
Portugal.
I'm Chip. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Gonçal, how do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
You love animals. Okay. Do you think animals deserve moral consideration? And by that I mean that if our actions impact them, then we should consider their well-being.
It depends, I would say. For example, I would say in terms of pollution and all of that, for sure, yeah. Also in terms of habitats as well, the impact we have. But I would also say, for example, if we breed animals, I don't know, for food, of course, the conditions still, I would say, matter, but it depends more, I would say.
So what you're saying is that you're okay with sexually exploiting animals for food, for optional food.
Well, in a way that those animals only exist because we use them for food, then I would say,
So would
Yeah.
it be moral for your mother to bring you to life only to exploit you and then kill you?
that it's different because
Well, that's what we do in animals.
but that species only exists because of that.
Yeah, and again, does that matter? Like, if you were a different species, if a different species would bring you to life only to exploit and kill you, would it be okay for you?
For I wouldn't have a say in that.
You wouldn't have a say in
situation.
it, but you could judge whether it is moral or not.
I couldn't. I wouldn't have a say. So
Well, you wouldn't have a say, but you could still see if it's right or wrong. Just like if somebody's about to kill you, you may not have a say in it, but you may find it wrong that they're trying to do that to you.
yeah, that's true. It's that.
So
it's
would you
also
find it
true-
right or wrong for somebody to bring you to existence for the sole purpose of exploiting and then killing you?
Me, in my
Yeah.
case, I would find it wrong. Yeah.
Okay, so
But
then why
it's-
would you assume that an animal would still not find it wrong to exploit and to bring them to life for the sole purpose of exploiting and killing them?
It depends on the levels of consciousness that we believe animals have.
So 1 in 1,000 people have this. It's called anencephaly, where they're missing the
Yeah, I
part
know,
of
I
the
know.
brain that have rationalized. They can rationalize. They can do logic or all this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Basically,
all true.
all these animals have the cognitive abilities of the same as an animal. In fact, some of them have less cognitive abilities than a cow or a pig. So with these people who are 1 in 1,000, would it be okay specifically we find out which gene they have, how they ended up this way, and we bring to life these human beings for the sole purpose of exploiting and then killing them?
It's
Because
a
it's the level of cognition that we have
not,
also for cows.
Not really, because an encephaly, it's as you said, it's that it's a person that doesn't have a part of the brain.
Yeah.
And that part of brain, as you said, it's related with cognition and with our logic.
Yeah.
Exactly. But there's also, for example, we can think about it in a sense that someone that is in a coma, for example, or with a brain tumor that makes them not able to think or all that.
Yeah.
We still think that of them as a human being, right?
Well, it doesn't
We'll
matter
still-
what we think of them. They are
It
human
does.
beings. They are human beings. My question to you is, do they have moral value? It's not whether they're human beings or not. Do they have? So wait. Does this individual who was born with anencephaly, do they have less moral value than an animal?
No,
Do they have equal moral value?
they have equal moral value as me, for example.
Okay. So why is it that you have them? Why is it that they have? I assume you think you have more moral value than an animal, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. So why is it that this individual who has anencephaly has more moral value than an animal?
Because they are a human being just
So
like
on
me.
account that they're born the same group as you.
Yeah.
So what if other people like you say, well, white people, they're the part of the same group as me, therefore it's okay to they have the same moral value. Any other
But
people
that's
born
not a
with a
group,
different color
that's-
skin, it's still a group. It's still
Well-
a categorization based on physical traits, isn't it? It's still a
Not
categorization
only a
based.
physical trait, but as a species in general.
Yeah,
So
spe-
it's,
what
we
is
are the
species?
same
Só isso
species.
que anencefalia não é compatível com a vida.
What is species to you?
Okay. Well, we are. My parents are doctors and all of that, and my brother just mentioned that an encephaly is not compatible with life. So if they are born with an encephaly, they are born dead. So they
Well,
are not
they're
born.
still alive now.
No,
There's a lot of them still alive. Yes.
if they have an anencephaly, they will die eventually.
They will die. Yeah, yeah. So
in a
is it
very
okay to
short-
kill them?
Not to kill them, they'll die.
But you
either
can
way.
acknowledge that there's human beings who have the cognitive abilities of animals, right?
Sure, a 3-year-old has the same cognitive ability
Okay,
as
and
a
if this
chimp,
and
for
if this
example.
3-year-old never grows up, remains with the same cognitive abilities throughout their life, like there are
Yeah.
cases in this planet, would it be okay to exploit and slaughter them?
No,
No, because they're human just like you.
yeah,
But would it be okay for a different species to exploit and slaughter them? Because they're not the same species as them.
I would say no, but that would be up to them.
So it's not a matter of species then, right? It's just a matter of saying that you give
Who
moral
decides?
value to them,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, but do you think that those beings have moral value because you give them moral value, or do you think they have moral value because they have moral value?
Because I would say they have a moral value because they have moral value. Yeah.
Okay, so why is it that animals don't have moral value? Shouldn't the same logic apply to all other animals? Humans are also animals, by the way.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
of
the
course.
logic apply to all other animals also? They have moral value because they have moral value on their own, because they value their life just as much as you value your life?
More or less, how do you assess if they value their own life and all of that?
How would I
do
assess
yeah.
if you value your own life if you couldn't speak or talk the same language as me? If I
You
bring a
wouldn't.
knife to you, I know you would run and you wouldn't want to die. The same with an animal.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I can easily assess if they want to be killed or not, right? Do you think all these animals want to be
It
killed?
depends. For example, you can think, for example, in the case of the dodos or all of that, they never had an experience of like being targeted and all of that, so they didn't have the fear of being hunted or killed. So
Who is
they
that?
dodos,
Dodos,
birds
yeah.
that
Yeah.
went extinct.
Well, they didn't go instinct. We hunted them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because we hunted and
Yeah.
we
Because-
led a lot of dogs and
Because we
rats
did to
and
them
all
exactly what we do to all other animals. We exploit and
Uh,
slaughter.
that. Yeah, yes, sure.
And how is that moral to do?
I wouldn't say it is, but I would say that would be different as compared to, for example, having a farm with chickens, for example, and using the chickens to eat them, for example.
Would it be okay to have a farm with dogs and using the dogs to eat them, for example? Sexually exploiting
Well, I
dogs,
wouldn't do it.
killing them, but would it be moral to you?
To me, I wouldn't say it's moral or not. For example,
So
to
you would
me,
find it morally agnostic. It could be both moral and immoral to you.
yeah, in a sense that we, for example, I would say that people would find it not morally acceptable because we have affection towards dogs.
So is that you also?
But sure, yeah, I like dogs, so I don't think I would do that. But for example,
not what you
in-
do. Not if you did it. I'm curious if you would consider it morally okay to do it.
Not me personally.
No. So why is it morally wrong to do the same thing to a dog, but morally okay to do it to a cow?
It depends on the type of affection, I would say. In this
So
case,
wait, no, but these dogs would not be dogs that you have affection for. These would be dogs that you strictly breed for that purpose.
not for me, for example. But I would say in a society where it's.
Can you talk about individuals? Like, right, there's an individual right here. You're an individual, an animal is an individual. If you are to be exploiting and slaughtering an individual, does the species of that individual matter? Because
It's
you seem
not
to
the
think
same.
it does.
It's not the same as like.
Well, you consider a dog an individual, don't you?
No, not really. I
No?
consider
Well, what is
dog
an
a dog.
individual to you?
An individual, it's a. Well. It's a single, so it's an individual being. But I would say, when I say an individual, I immediately associate it with a person, not with just an animal.
What defines a person?
A
Does
human
personality?
being, yeah. Sure. No, a person is a human being.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
because they're born human to you, then they
They are
deserve moral
person.
worth. Otherwise, they don't. So you believe that we should be strictly discriminating based on phenotypes, because these are literally phenotypes. Species is
They
a
are
phenotype.
phenotypes. I'm not saying we have to discriminate anything.
Well, you
We-
are, because you're saying don't do it to dogs, but do it to cows.
No, I'm saying to like do it in a reasonable manner that
What's a
if you-
reasonable matter to kill an animal that doesn't want to die for something you don't actually need?
what's the reasonable manner for a lion to hunt a gazelle?
But the lion needs a gazelle to eat. You don't
We
need
need-
to. No,
yeah.
we don't need animal
You need
products. You can get
That's-
protein
that's
from
not
other
true.
sources.
That's-
Well, I'm a certified nutritionist. If you don't
Sure,
trust me, you can look
I'm
it
a
up
medical
online.
student.
There you go. Look it up online. Look it up
But
online if you don't trust
you're
me.
saying-
You-
you're
wait,
saying
wait.
to
As a
use-
medical student, are you saying people cannot thrive on a plant-based diet?
No, you can survive on a
And
plant-based
thrive?
diet.
Can you thrive on a
but-
plant-based diet?
Um,
As a medical
more
student.
or less, because you may find the nutritions that you need to.
So you can
have
thrive on a
s-
plant-based diet. So you don't need to exploit and slaughter animals then, if you can thrive on a plant-based diet.
But you have, it's easier in the sense that you can.
So if it's easier, then exploiting and slaughtering makes it moral. If it's more convenient for me,
Not
if
really.
I'm driving,
Human beings are omnivores, which means that we need.
human beings are sexual beings, which means we need sex. Does
Yeah,
that mean
sure.
we are? Does that mean we should do sex in an unconsensual, immoral way? If we're
That's-
omnivorous,
that's a
just because
totally
we
different
can
point.
eat meat, doesn't mean we should. That's the whole
How
point.
so? How so?
Because if we
why
can
you
digest
shouldn't?
meat, doesn't mean that we should. You can digest a lot of things, doesn't mean you are going to eat everything that you can digest.
But
can you?
then you can move it to.
And again, we can
chimps,
thrive
for
on a
example.
plant-based diet. You
Chimps,
just acknowledge
chimps
that you
are
can-
also omnivores,
But you
and they
acknowl-
eat both meat.
Why does it
and-
matter? You acknowledge that you can thrive on a
It's the same
plant-based
thing.
diet, right? You acknowledge, you as a medical student acknowledge that you
Sure,
can
you
thrive on
can
a
find
plant-based
you can
diet.
find the nutritions in plants to survive and have a healthy life.
There you
but
go.
those nutritions still aren't enough to have a totally healthy life.
Wait, so you can have a
lifestyle.
healthy life but not a totally healthy life? What's the difference
the-
between a healthy life
it's-
and a totally healthy life? As a
This
medical
means,
student.
This means that, for example, you can use soybeans and some other products to get your protein, but in the economy and in the society that we are today, those are not the products that are best delivered or exposed for consumption, and also in terms
They're
of
not the best.
in
What do you
terms
mean
of
nutritionally?
iron that we also need, vitamin B12 that
So
we
wait, you
also
talk
need.
about red meat. You as a doctor, is red
Yeah.
meat healthy?
In a sensible manner, it is.
It is. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me see. Let me get this straight. What the World Health Organization calling it a type 2B carcinogenic, it makes it healthy.
It's
With the
true
fact that it
does
raises
have,
LDL-C and ApoB, does it make it healthy?
it does have some types of carcinogen, but that is
Does it
because
raise
of the
LDL-C and
term-
ApoB?
I'm not sure. I'm in second year. I don't know.
Well, it does. It does raise LDL-C and ApoB, which raises your chances for atherosclerosis. But
Yeah.
so how can it? What exactly makes it healthy? The fact that it has iron, or the fact that it has
In a
some
sensible
protein? Can you
manner.
get iron and healthy protein from other sources?
You can.
So everybody
White
on this
meats, for
planet
example.
recommends you should not eat red meat, but you all of a sudden think you should eat red meat because of the iron.
It depends on on the type of and the quantity of consumption that you have, and also in the way that the meat is preserved and in the way that the meat is, for example, what is fed to the cows and all.
So if you can
different
thrive
things.
on a plant-based diet where you don't have all of this type 2B carcinogenic for the colon, where you don't have LDL-C being raised because you're probably not going to have a high saturated fat diet, because plants don't have that much saturated fat. We are going to be having a high fiber diet, which will help with everything else. So obviously you have more potential for a healthy diet as a plant-based diet for any regular person. Even if you're going to be eating processed foods, you're still going to have potential for a higher health diet. So my question to you is, even if it were the same, how does that morally justify killing animals for products that we don't actually need again? Because we end up in the same place. You can thrive on a plant-based diet. You acknowledge. You seem to think that no, you can get way more health from an animal-based diet. You cannot. But
You can, for example, there's also the carnivorous diet, and it has also been proven that it has a lot of benefits
dude,
to
please
our
don't say
health.
that as a medical student.
Well,
You're going to be
there's
saying
a lot
something
of
you're going to be
studies.
regretting later.
It
No, there
means that
aren't a
there
lot
are
of
a lot of
studies.
studies
There's
for
only been
all
2
types
studies,
of
and both of them are
diets.
very badly made, man. There's only been 2 studies on the carnivore diet, and both of them are very badly made. Don't put yourself in a sinkhole. Like you're live right now. Please don't
that's
say
true,
stupid
yeah.
shit.
It's
Like you can acknowledge that we can thrive on a plant-based diet, right?
Yes.
Let's not go into nutritional thing because I do this for a living. I know a
Yeah,
lot of
that's-
nutritional things. So
Certainly know more of nutrition than me, for sure.
yeah, so if we can thrive on a plant-based diet, I don't want to get into that. Does that mean that morally it is immoral for us to choose to kill an animal for something that we can choose otherwise something else?
I still wouldn't say it is immoral to do it.
Is it you saying this because you want to confirm your own beliefs? Because like if
Not
it were
really.
dogs, you would say yeah, it is immoral. But all of a sudden, if it's these other species that you've been taught it's okay to kill, you seem to think it's moral.
Not
Like,
really.
is
For
there any
example,
logic behind
we
it?
we do have, for example, affection, I would say, towards I don't know a deer, but I would still find it reasonable to hunt deer for consumption.
So would you find it reasonable to hunt koalas for consumption?
No, I don't know, like I don't think I would hunt koalas because of the size and all the diseases related with. There are, for example, I'm sure there are some indigenous
But what is
people that do so.
I'm just going to ask you, because what is this logic that you seem to apply, that you apply it to dogs? You just think that because you have an emotional connection to dogs as a species, then that every individual of that species deserves moral consideration. But because you don't have an emotional connection to cows as a species, then every individual of that species deserves to be exploited and slaughtered for
I'm not
money,
saying they
for
deserve to
optional
be
products.
exploited and slaughtered. I'm saying that we
You're saying
use
that you
them to
can.
eat meat.
You're not saying that they deserve it. You're saying that you can. So what is it that you can do to a cow that you find it moral? Like where's the limit if you can exploit and
What do you
kill
mean?
them?
It's just for eat consumption.
So what is it about taking something and putting it in your mouth hole that makes it special? If you kill a cow or you exploit them to wear their skin, does that make it okay?
So sorry, what?
If you exploit and slaughter a cow to wear their skin, is that okay?
It depends. I don't know if you use skin of cows for.
We use it's leather,
That's
right?
it.
That's
Oh,
what it's
leather.
meant,
That's
yeah.
true. I forgot.
Is it okay
Yeah.
to exploit and slaughter cows for leather?
Well, if we use all the rest, I wouldn't just kill a cow just for the leather. But otherwise.
Yeah, we use the rest. We put it up we would create dildos out of it. Doesn't really matter what we use the rest for. Does it make it
Sure.
okay?
Well, sure. Yeah.
So we can exploit and slaughter animals for whatever. If we consider them, if we don't have a relation with that species, then you think it's okay that we can exploit and slaughter each individual of that species just because we as
Not
a
each
species decided.
individual,
Well,
each-
all cows means each individual of that species.
Also, not all cows. For example, there's cows that you breed for production of milk. You wouldn't slaughter them for other purposes. You use, for example, there are.
But that's what I mean. What you're talking about is you're saying, well, if we deem these species as this species, we give them purpose for this, then every individual who's born in that species will have to be used for that purpose. Like if somebody who's more intelligent than humans, there's another species on this planet, let's imagine a hypothetical scenario where another species on this planet says, well, let me just give the purpose of humans of them being slaves because they could, because that's what their species decided for humans. Would it be fair for you as an individual who was born a human being to be classified as a slave to these beings just because you were born a human being?
I wouldn't like it, but for them, it would be morally correct to
It
do
wouldn't, because you see that's
For
the
them,
whole
it
point.
would.
No, because you're forgetting about your individuality. They're forgetting about your individuality. It doesn't matter what species you're born. It doesn't matter what purpose you place on a species. What matters is the value that you acknowledge that individual has. Like I acknowledge you have value on your own, and I acknowledge that animals have value on their own. I'm not going around
So
killing
your
you
point-
or the animals just because I want to, or just because I have power over you and I can do
So
it.
your point is that you should never like kill any type of animal.
Not if you don't need to, of course. Yeah, if it's in self-defense and an animal
But
is
for
attacking
example,
you, it's a different thing.
for the production of the soybeans and all of that, there's millions kinds of pesticides used that kill all other crops later on, all
But
insects.
we need to eat. First of
all-
all, so we need to eat something, right? And when
Okay,
we're protecting
but
our crop,
would it be
but there-
morally correct to kill
It's not-
millions and millions of bees and
But there is a
flies
difference.
and all of that?
There is a difference between exploiting an innocent being for you to use them and treat them as an object and then kill them whenever you want to and do whatever you want to them just because you get some benefit out of it, and you
Aren't you doing
protecting
the same
and
to
you
the bees and
and
cows
you
and
protecting
all
your
that?
crops so that you have something to eat. There's a difference. You're protecting
Still,
your
you
crop.
are- you are
protecting if you
exploiting-
listen. If I'm protecting my house and an invader comes in and I kill them, it's not the same as me going around on the street and killing somebody.
But
right?
in
It's a
terms
difference.
of-
I'm
in
protecting
terms of
my
numbers,
house versus.
You're killing way more than.
Well,
for
that's
the
obvious.
protection.
That's
It's not, it's
objectively
mi-
not true.
it-
Well,
it's
most of
not.
the soy, first of
Millions-
all, most
yeah.
of the soy grown for food, 80% of it is grown to feed the animals, because most of the
Okay,
soy
sure,
we feed
but
the animals.
for
So
then
every
us to-
every death that you think
for us
happened in
to
the soy
eat-
production, every death that you think happens in the animal production in soy production will obviously be multiplied when you consume an animal product, because you not only
Okay,
killing
yeah.
the innocent animal but also the hundreds of animals that are killed, as you said, for soy, right?
But you're also destroying a lot of habitats for other species
The largest.
as well.
So this is not me. IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, which is the part of UN that handles climate change, which is the largest organization, biggest experts of environmentalists on this planet. They mentioned that a plant-based diet would be monumentally better for eutrophication, for land use, for water use, for all of it. It takes up to 6 times more land to make 1 gram of animal protein versus 1 gram of plant protein. It is morally preferable for the environment. This is morally preferable for the sentient beings. It is healthily preferable for you as a being. There is the only reason you can continue exploiting and slaughtering animals for food is because you like it, it's convenient, or it's tradition. And none of these are good enough reasons to exploit and slaughter a being. Can you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, so if all the other reasons fail, shouldn't we then stop doing this to them? Shouldn't you stop participating in it?
Sure, yeah. I'm actually a vegetarian. I just
You're a
like
vegetarian.
I
but
just like
fair
the,
enough.
this
I
discussion.
appreciate you, but like even as a vegetarian, dairy cows are still sexually exploited, killed when they can no longer be impregnated, and their babies are taken from them, killed also, and like it's a horrible
I do
practice.
have to leave, but thank you for your time.
Watch your conversation back in time,
Sure.
and watch the minion or the most important speech ever.
Thank you
here,
for
okay?
your time.
What's your
I
name
like
again?
To Gonal. I'd like to
Gonal.
play devil's advocate again.
That's okay. I really appreciate that. Just watch one of those 2 videos, okay? Okay. Cheers. Have a good one. There you go. I appreciate that he played devil's advocate, actually. But this whole thing of we need to consume animal products, no, we don't. We need to stop it with this, and we need to stop this whole idea. I mean, he says he's a medical student. I don't know if it's true, but even if he is, he needs to brush up on some of the knowledge. Carnivore diet is not a healthy diet, regardless if you think you should be vegan or not, regardless of your moral position about animals or not. Carnivore diet is not a healthy diet, okay? It's not. It is a very, very unhealthy one, and you should not be doing it, regardless of what you're eating, regardless if you're consuming animal products or not. This is not me as an animal rights activist telling you. This is me as a certified nutritionist telling you to not do the carnivore diet. It's a bad idea. You will regret it one day or another. Because again, it raises LDL-C and ApoB, which are the primary markers for atherosclerosis, which is the #1 cause, the leading cause of death worldwide, okay? So yeah. Bullet Serenade says go carnivore all the way. Yeah, if you want to die, go do that. Want to try a social experiment? Let's see if we're getting another conversation. How is it the leading cause of death? Heart disease is the leading cause of death, yeah, atherosclerosis. Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Matilda.
I'm Chip, nice to meet you. Are you okay being live for my YouTube channel?
Hi,
So, Matilda, where are you from?
Italy.
Italy. How do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
You love animals?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that if our actions impact them, then we should consider their well-being?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That is called moral consideration. So you think animals deserve moral consideration?
More consideration.
Yeah. Okay. So then, do you think that this applies to only the animals we like, or all the animals like?
All the animals.
All the animals.
Because there are a lot of people that are like love dogs or cats, but if they see like a pigeon on the street, like they are scared to death.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What about cows, chickens, pigs? The animals that we usually disconsider, the animals that we farm.
Yes.
Do you think we're giving them moral consideration when we're farming them?
No, but like I know that in some countries like China and Japan, they eat also like cats and dogs. Like I never tried their meat, but like I'm willing to try it because like the human is made from God to eat what he has around himself.
So what you're saying is that a compassionate God, I don't know which God you believe in, but a compassionate God
The
thinks that it's okay,
Catholic God.
thinks that it's okay to cut the throat of a dog when you could just go into a supermarket, get a plant-based dish.
Yes, but I think that plant-based dishes are a bit different from meat because maybe someone is allergic. Like most of them are made from soy that a lot of people are
there's a
allergic
lot that
to.
are made by soy.
And
Is that your situation, by the way?
what?
Are you allergic to soy?
No,
Okay.
I'm intolerant to soy.
Okay. That
Um,
must be difficult because soy is in everything these days, huh?
Yeah, but I really don't like that type of food because I think that it's too much, like it's being processed too much. And
Oh wait, aglio and olio, it's plant-based.
what?
Aglio and olio.
Ah, yes.
It's what, olive oil and
Yes, I eat it most of the time.
Yeah.
Like I really
Pasta.
like meat flavor, but if I can avoid eating something with meat, like I don't know, gummy bears. Most of them are made with gelatin that comes from animal. If I can, like, I almost never eat gummy bears, but if I have to eat it, and
But you never have to eat gummy bears, do you?
no, I don't have to. But if I want to eat it, like I go for the plant-based one because like it doesn't change the flavor.
Yeah, that's a good one. But like, let me ask you this: even if it does change the flavor, even in the situation that you like meat, does that morally justify cutting the throat of an animal because you like it?
No, but it's a culture that like we have from like people from like the beginning of the human species.
Does that make it right if it's been happening for a long time?
No, it doesn't make it right, but like I understand that there are a lot of people that are not willing to change because they are really closed-minded.
Is that you?
No, like I could probably do that, but for now, I think that since my body is still developing, I think that I should eat meat to get proper, all the proper vitamins because my.
What vitamins do you get from meat?
Like I don't know how to say it. The steel, like I don't know how to say it in
Like
English.
protein?
Yes, protein.
That's not a vitamin. That's a macronutrient, and you can get it from other sources also, right?
The
Let me put it this way: if I can give you resources that would help you thrive on a plant-based diet, would you see it as extremely important that you stop oppressing animals?
yes, but I wouldn't like overly processed food.
No, like you can have a whole foods plant-based diet. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So, because do you think you should have the right to oppress animals?
No.
No. So then you have the obligation to not oppress them, right?
No, I don't have the obligation.
But if you
because,
don't have the right, the opposite of that means you have the obligation to not do it.
Yes, but if no one killed the animal, the people that do it for a job are not like what they do for living. Like
They can find another job.
yes, but it's not that easy.
Wait, do you think it's more easy? It's more difficult for them to find another job, or for the thousands of animals who get their throats cut?
No, but like maybe that one specific job was made for like they have an affection to that job because maybe I don't know.
They suffer with PTSD.
No, like
This post-traumatic stress disorder. Workers there have serious mental issues. They have mental issues. They have a lot of the times
well,
they get
not
hurt.
all of them.
Almost all of them have serious mental issues, and a lot of them also have. It's an environment where they use a lot of knives, where they use a lot of things to, they cut animals. They a lot of the times they get a lot of physical injuries also.
Yes, but a lot of people do.
It's not a good job.
Yeah, but a lot of people do jobs that they don't like to do,
It's,
but they have to do them.
Well, but my point isn't that. My point is that if you're trying to protect a job that isn't even a nice job, why? First of all, and second, even if it were a nice job, should we protect it when this nice job exploits and slaughters sentient beings? Like we had, when the slavery was
Yes.
rampant everywhere, there were jobs of people who had to gather slaves. There were jobs of people who had to transport slaves. Should we have said, no, let's not stop slavery because all these people have jobs?
No, but
So an
like-
injustice is an injustice.
yes, but human beings are different from animals.
I never said, first of all, that they're the same. I just added an injustice that you can relate to, that you obviously see as an injustice. And what you said, that just because something is just because an injustice produces jobs, doesn't mean we should continue doing that injustice. Just
Yes,
because it
maybe
produces
we
jobs.
can lower the people who do this job, but in some countries there is still slavery.
Well, either way, you're not paying for that, are you?
No, me
No.
personally not.
No, but for this other injustice of animals getting exploited and slaughtered for you, you are paying for that.
Yes,
And it is happening because you're paying for it.
yes.
Yeah.
But-
So don't you see it as important than to stop this injustice if you can?
Like I could, but I don't want to.
Okay, so you don't want to, and you seem to. So anybody who would be participating in slavery, they should be
Yes.
allowed to continue it because they can. Even if they can't stop it, they don't want to. You see, like an injustice. Do you see injustices like they should be left off to the person who's doing the injustice, like the oppressor? Should we care about the oppressor what they want, or should we care about the oppressed?
Like we should care about the oppressed, but like slavery is something that puts a person that can make his own decision. An animal,
So it's exactly the same as what we do to animals, yeah.
yeah, but animals don't like. Some animals trust the humans and others don't. So it's a bit different.
Some slaves trust humans, some
No,
don't.
no, no. I'm not
What?
making that comparison because humans are different from animals.
What is that difference that justifies enslaving one but not the other?
No, no, no. It's not justifying, but people have feelings.
Animals have feelings.
Yes, but a lot of animals hit their babies. The majority of humans wouldn't do that.
There's a lot of humans who hit their babies also. Would that mean it's okay to exploit and slaughter those humans who hit their babies?
No, but there are more animals that do that compared to humans.
Is that really a logic you should be applying to each individual? Who cares if there's more of if there's more Italians who beat their wives, does that mean that if you're Italian you automatically beat your wife? Because
No.
more Italians are doing it? No, so it doesn't really matter if humans from your group or individuals from your group do one thing. What matters is what your values are for doing to another individual.
Yeah,
Doesn't-
but I want to continue eating meat.
So you want to continue exploiting and slaughtering sentient beings?
Yes.
You don't
Because
really
I'm-
care about animals, right?
No, I care about them, but
How can you care about them if you choose to exploit and slaughter them?
because I need their meat for my development.
You don't. Like again, I can help you. I can give you resources for that.
No, I don't want them.
Yeah, but you see, that's it. So you acknowledge that you can choose to
Yeah, but I
not
don't-
consume animal products.
don't want
You
to
can
choose.
exactly. So you want to exploit and slaughter animals, and then
No,
how can
I'm
you
not
call
the
yourself?
one doing that.
Well, you're the one supporting it. You're the one giving it money. So that's why it's happening. It's because people like
Yeah,
you are giving
but-
it money.
Even if I I stop eating meat, there are going to be other million people that do that.
So does that make it right?
No, but it's not. It doesn't make a big change.
You can save up to 100 to 200 animals per year. Maybe that's nothing to you, but
yeah,
if you were
I don't
one of
eat
those,
that much meat.
no. Well, even if it's one individual, who cares? It's one animal. If you can choose to kill one animal when you don't have to, why would you choose to?
Because I want to eat their meat.
Because you want to kill them, right? Because
no, I don't want to kill them. I need their source.
You don't need it. You want it. You get some form of pleasure from it.
My like blood results said that I have to eat fish and meat.
Who said? How can blood results say you have to eat fish and meat?
Because I have low iron and I'm allergic.
Can you not supplement iron?
Yeah, but I'm allergic like to beans, etc. And
so you cannot, like, again, if I give you resources to help you with all of these health-wise, you would be healthy, thriving.
yeah, but I prefer the
So you
taste
prefer
of
it.
meat.
So you see, it doesn't. All these are just excuses, aren't they? Because at the end of the day, it's because you will continue oppressing animals because you want to.
Ma perché ti vuole far dire quello che pensa lui?
That's the reality.
Yeah, but this is my opinion, and you are not going to change it.
Well, I'm not going to
Like
change your
I-
opinion, obviously, but what I'm going to say is that you cannot call yourself an animal lover if you are going to pay for animals to be
Yes.
chopped into pieces for
But,
something you don't need. Can you call yourself an animal lover?
Like I feel like you're trying to like make me admit something that I don't admit.
Well, you're a hypocrite. That's what you are. You say you respect animals.
I'm not an hypocrite.
Well, you say you love animals, but then you pay for them to be exploited and slaughtered. If I say I love women, but then I pay for them to get stabbed in the throat, do I really love women?
Okay, but then like
Because I want to.
why in America there is like people that are sentenced to death. Like I love people, but I don't want them to be sentenced
I'm
to
also
death.
against that. That's ridiculous. We shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, but like what can you do?
What can you do? Well, if you had something to do about it, like if I was against the death penalty and I could choose for the death penalty or not, I would choose for not the death penalty. If you are against, if you think you love animals, then and you can choose between exploiting or not exploiting them, then how can you really love them if you choose for them to be exploited? You see, it's about choice. You're making the choice. You want to, as you just said. You want to continue exploiting animals. So how can you say you respect, not that you love them, how can you even give them the basic respect when you say, fuck their body autonomy, fuck their life, I want to eat what I want to eat?
So since the day you were born, you didn't touch a single piece of meat.
No, of course not, but I woke up and I realized that what I'm doing is wrong. And I stopped.
Maybe one day I will wake up, but right now I don't want to wake up.
But that's exactly it, isn't it? Right? Because if somebody were to bring this up to me while I'm doing something bad, I would admit that I'm doing something bad, and maybe I would admit that I'm a hypocrite. But that's it. If it's factually true, it is true. Like you're saying now, you say you love animals.
Yeah, but
yet
like
you choose to
making
do them.
an hamburger made of soy, it
It doesn't
costs.
have to be a soy.
For example, it costs a lot of more water
No.
than to make. Yeah.
It doesn't. So the IPCC, the largest intergovernmental panel for climate change, which is the largest organization of environmentalists on this planet, the most experts on this, have studies over studies over studies showing that it takes up to 4 times more land and 3 times more water to produce 1 gram of animal protein versus 1 gram of plant protein.
Okay. Maybe he wants to.
Non è un piacere.
So no, you choose for animals to be exploited. You
Okay.
choose to do it. So you can't call yourself an animal lover if you choose that, can you?
Grazie. Arrivederci.
You want to have this conversation with
I
me?
don't know.
I'm just talking about animal ethics. I'm normal.
Talking about animal.
No, no, that's okay. That's okay. It's kind of sad to see. It's kind of sad to see. See, maybe we get one more conversation before the big rain starts. Well, Suiso, I did not fail actually. That was very successful because you know what? I just showed exactly that. That she claims to be an animal lover while at the same time paying for animals to be exploited and slaughtered, which is literally the definition of hypocrisy. So she was a hypocritical person. Well, within that action, I don't know about other actions. Maybe she did also other things that were hypocritical, but that particular action was hypocritical. Yeah. It's so funny. Dude named Clem. Again, if anybody wants to debate me, hey, you find my Instagram handle there. Send me a message. We'll schedule a debate. No problem. Dude named Clem. Okay, dude named Clem. Send me a message on Instagram. I have had so many people said, yeah, I'll debate you, but then nobody contacts me. So if you're gonna be that person, whatever. I can't control you, but yeah. You look tired today, bro. I am tired, yeah. I'm pretty tired, yeah. I've been sleeping a bit badly. I just mentioned that I had a sinus infection on Sunday, so it's kind of clearing up. I no longer think I have it, the infection, but you know how it is. You always still need to blow your nose in the middle of the night. You always still need to sit on one side or the other. It's kind of annoying. Just doing activism. Hey, nice to see you here. This is so based. Well done, thank you. Sky, don't let the bastards grind you down, says Sky. Never, Sky. We keep on grinding, we keep on doing. Animals deserve people who are morally considerate towards them. Animals deserve somebody who is fair and honest. And I mean, I've just been honest, that's it, with everybody else. You guys want to have a conversation with me? But I think we'll have 5 more minutes left. So I don't think anybody will stop by in the next 5 minutes. So there's a lot of cars right here. So how about we just hold this sign right now? It says if you're not vegan, you're supporting needless animal exploitation. Do you agree? Well, being vegan means being against animal exploitation, so logically it follows. Do you think it's okay to exploit animals? You have nowhere to go, man. You can have a conversation with me. It's full of cars right here. That's why I'm sitting with the sign. Dude named Clem. I thought you were gonna debate me. Are you gonna contact me on Instagram, or are you gonna chicken out like most people do? What if you buy from a farm or hunt? Asks Ruby X. Well, it's the same principle applies. You yourself doing the exploitation and slaughter does not make it okay, does it? If you still choose to exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings, whether you do it for optional products or you do it for money, I would say it's still bad. It doesn't really matter, does it? And you choosing to take the life of an innocent sentient being just because you like it is still bad, doesn't it? So you killing, hunting is just as bad. Fishing, just as bad. Where you can choose to not exploit or slaughter a sentient being, why not choose that? Simple. Choose that. That's the whole thing that people don't seem to, just people don't seem to get. You have a choice. You can choose to exploit, or you can choose not to. So why would you ever choose to exploit? It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Why would you ever choose to exploit? Just because you get pleasure out of it?
Ragazzi.
I like your hat. Thank you. I got it as a present, actually.
Ja, das ist jetzt so ein bisschen der Plan vielleicht.
Can I read the board? Yeah, sure. It says if you're not vegan, you're supporting needless animal exploitation. It's but it's mirrored, so you probably have difficulty reading it. What about animals that have lived a whole life? Again, the same principle applies. No matter what stage I'm in my life, I wouldn't want anybody to exploit and slaughter me just because they can do it. The reality is I wouldn't want them to do it regardless, but if somebody does it out of their own need, you know, it is what it is. Fuck it. It's like shit happens, right? That's kind of what it is. Need is essentially you don't have a lot of control over it. But if you have control over it, if you can choose to not exploit and slaughter sentient beings, why would you ever choose to not? Why would you ever choose to? Like, that's the whole thing. Why? I'm holding this sign. There's a lot of cars who are reading the sign now. Maybe I should turn around and actually hold it for the cars. Holding it for the cars right now. And we'll stay for 5 more minutes, then I'm gonna leave because the rain is gonna start soon and I don't wanna be too wet. Debate that guy in the car. I mean, I think everybody's just waiting in line. If I see that it becomes super busy, I'm gonna ask people if they want to have a conversation with me. Hey, David, nice to see you here. And if you're enjoying my aggressive approach, everybody, hit that like and subscribe. I'm gonna go live also. So on Friday we're gonna be doing something a little bit special and some outreach. Both. I want to do both on Friday, so it's gonna be a long day. But yeah, because I wanted to do it on Thursday and Friday, but tomorrow the weather's gonna be kind of shit, so I can't really do it. So Friday we're gonna be having a long day together if you guys don't want to. Somebody says I'd rather go vegetarian than vegan. Well, Raj, vegetarians still exploit and slaughter innocent sentient beings. Dairy cows are forcefully inseminated. They have their babies taken from them. Then the babies, if they're born male, they get killed. If they're born female, they get exploited every year, treated like objects, have their babies stolen from them, and eventually slaughtered. All for nothing. What if it's unhealthy? Well, it isn't. We know that for a fact. I'm a certified nutritionist. Don't trust me? Go online, look it up. We know for a fact that it is healthy. You can thrive on a plant-based diet. Chip, what time you're starting on Friday UK time? I was thinking somewhere early first, 12 a.m. We're gonna be doing a bike ride together, and then later in the evening, so something like that. I'm not sure, around that time. 12 a.m. here, so maybe 11 a.m. UK. Get a job, hobo. First of all, I'm not a hobo, and I do have a job, but thank you for that. What about digital sentient clones? If they're sentient, they deserve moral consideration, full stop. Doesn't matter if they're digital or not digital. AI says, trust me, I'm a nutritionist. No, that's exactly what I didn't say. I said, I'm a certified nutritionist and you should look it up yourselves. Don't trust me. That's exactly the opposite of what I said. But hey, thank you for twisting my words. How long have you been vegan for? Asks Raj. 4 years, 4 years, something like that. Stop counting at some point. You have a booger. Thank you. Oh, look at that. There's Trash Channel 1970, the person who is afraid to debate me. But comes to every video and comments on every video. Well, I appreciate you commenting and being here at least, you know. He says I push misinformation. What exactly misinformation am I pushing? I literally am telling people to look it up and not trust me. So please tell me, how am I misinforming people? How am I misinforming them when I'm saying that you can thrive on a plant-based diet? Is that not something you think it's do you think that's misinformation? Because that is pretty factual. But tell me. Oh, Trash says afraid. Let's go, Cupcake. Oh, that's so funny. So you're not afraid. Okay, well then you've dropped plenty of comments on my YouTube channel. Just drop another comment on this one or this video or another video just now if you can't wait, or contact me on Instagram and we can schedule a debate, no problem. What are we protesting? Well, we're sitting here telling people that if they're not vegan, they're basically participating in animal exploitation, needless animal exploitation. Not just participating, but supporting it. They're paying for animals to be exploited and slaughtered for something that is optional. No, it's for food, the difference. Well, it's optional food. It's not food that we need. We can thrive on a plant-based diet. And it's not just for food. We exploit and slaughter animals for clothing, for entertainment, for a lot of purposes. If you think it's only for food, then you might be mistaken. Are plants living organisms, yes or no? Yes, they are, but they're not sentient. But what about the free market? Well, what about the free market? I don't think free market should involve allowing people to do injustices. Just like we don't allow people to commit slavery or other things in the name of the free market, injustices, we don't allow them. There you go. So if we're not allowing people to enslave humans for the free market, why would we allowing people to enslave animals for the free market? We shouldn't be allowing any form of enslavement, exploitation, or slaughter. Trash channel, you don't have to do Instagram. Drop a comment in one of my videos. You're on my channel a lot, so just drop a comment on one of my videos that you want to debate me, and yeah, I'll give you a link. We can schedule a time and we can debate, no problem. I'm not going to debate you by me speaking and you typing. If we debate involves both of us talking, you showing your face, like a nice debate. Where we speak, both of us, we choose a topic and we debate it. That's it. That's what a debate involves. And yeah, we can do that. Or if you're too afraid to do that and you only want to do it via chat because you're too afraid to show your face because you might be saying things that are factually wrong or that may make you look bad, then I get it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. You don't have to debate me if you're afraid. Yeah, Trash channel, exactly. So you say you're here now. I'm not going to be talking to you now and you chatting because it's just highly inefficient. The rain is starting and I have to leave in like 5 minutes. So there's no point. I've tried having these kind of conversations with people. Every time they either dodge questions or their answers are not being shown by YouTube, it always ends up like being a miscommunication. So no, it doesn't really work this way. If you want to debate me, we do it like regular people do. We debate face to face, you know, like in person, even if you want, if you live in the Netherlands or something. But if you're not, you know, we can do it online over a call, whatever that call is. We can do Zoom, we can do StreamYard, we can do whatever it is. We do it live so that everybody sees, right? Because if you're going to be debating me, obviously, and you think that you would easily beat me in a debate, we do it live. You know, you can beat me on the debate. Maybe you'll beat me in the debate. Who knows, right? Like at the end of the day, who knows who's right? Yeah, exactly, Trash Channel. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for proving my point that you're too afraid to actually debate me. Chip, do you think someone should go to prison for killing a cow? Same time as murdering a human? If so, why? Asks Fusion. I think at some point, yes, I think at some point when people are well informed, I don't think anybody should be going to prison right now for that, because most people are raised to think that it is okay. They're basically given values, moral values, but they don't actually think logically about the moral values that they've been given, right? Just like during slavery times, somebody who had slaves shouldn't have been in prison for it. Also, now, if you exploit and slaughter animals, you should probably not be in prison for it because you don't actually rationalize or know that what you're doing is wrong. If, however, you're presented with the argument and you know that what you're doing is wrong and you're intentionally doing it even knowing that it is wrong, acknowledging that it is wrong, and you're doing it because you get some form of pleasure or because, you don't really care or it's your tradition or whatever, then perhaps, yeah, in those situations, perhaps you should be somehow punished. I don't know what that would involve. Not necessarily prison. There's different forms of punishment. I don't believe in prison systems. I believe in reform. I believe people are good, essentially. People should be given the opportunity to change. Do you agree with the sign? Do you agree with the sign? It's true. Are you vegan? Why not? Say it again.
By nutrients, like the proteins.
If you could get protein from plants and plant-based products, would you see it as important to go vegan?
Yeah, but it's different. It's different. It's not the same amino acids.
Watch the minion. It is. All plants have all 9 essential amino acids. Watch the minion, okay? You're telling us that mushrooms are not sentient? Yes, mushrooms are not sentient. Half the problem is too many people. No, half the problem is exactly this. The fact that it's not that there's too many people, it's the fact that we only value us as individuals and we refuse to understand the perspective of other individuals. And we do this in a lot of ways, don't we? We do this for animals, we do this for immigrants, we do this for women, we do this for trans people, we do this a lot. We never value other individuals if they're different from us. We don't. And I don't know, that's kind of fucked up. Well, I personally do, but others don't. And why? Just because they've been told a certain thing. They've been told how to think. They've been told how to place value. But the reality is, once you acknowledge that each sentient individual has value on their own, then everything else just makes sense. Exploiting them, slaughtering them, everything is wrong, and everything just falls into place. And you acknowledge just where the world needs to be at, where we're at, and what essentially is keeping us from evolving as a society or as beings on our own. Because make no mistake, outside of the fact that we are exploiting and slaughtering these beings, outside of it being extremely bad for them and wrong, what we're doing is very bad also for our society. It's very bad also for us as individuals. It makes no sense. We draw an arbitrary line and we say, well, you're born a different species than what I value, and you as an individual, I don't really care what your characteristics are. I don't really care if you're sentient or not. I don't care if you feel. I don't care if you emote. All I care is that you're born with a certain category that I deem as not worthy. Therefore, I can choose to exploit and slaughter you. No, that's a fucked up thing to have. And by the way, the rain is starting, so I'm just gonna be heading out. I knew it was gonna start raining, so yeah. If there's no objective moral, then why would it matter? Well, you know why it wouldn't matter? Because we all want to live in a society where everybody's treated nicely. And everybody is not treated nicely on account that they're born human or they're born with a certain trait. When we make this distinction of this idea of, well, you were born with a certain trait, like that's exactly what we did with racism. That's exactly what we did with everything else. We said, well, you're born with a certain trait, therefore you deserve to live. You were born with an undesirable trait, therefore you should be, I don't know, exploited or something. That's exactly what we do to animals. So no, let's not do that, okay? Hey VPM, nice to see you here, thank you. So yeah, and if you don't listen, don't trust me. I'm not here to tell you things. I'm here to try and, budge you in the right direction. I'm here to try and tell you, hey, look it up a little bit more, look, do a little bit more information. Don't just trust a random stranger on the internet like I am. Do a little bit of information yourself. Learn a little bit. You know, we're not here to. We're here to. I'm also here to kind of entice you to do a little bit of critical thinking on your own. You know, don't just look for the values that confirm your belief system. Okay, look against them. Look both ways. Okay, do all of that, please. Like, let's be honest and let's be smart about this. We're not. We're claiming intellectual superiority over animals. We're claiming how intelligent we are. We're claiming how much we deserve because of our intelligence. Let's act intelligently then, right? Let's think critically for a second. I think critical thinking is a big part of intelligence, is it not? Yeah. So how can veganism be feasible for the mass? It's pretty simple. What do you mean, like environmentally speaking or health speaking? Obviously, we can thrive on a plant-based diet. There you go. So that's health speaking. And as for environmentally speaking, it takes 6 times more land, up to 6 times more land to make 1 gram of animal protein. So we would be using less land, we would be using less water, there would be less eutrophication, less biodiversity loss, all of it if everybody switched to a plant-based diet. The whole world would be monumentally better. The whole world. It would be better for us, better for them, better for everybody. Everybody wins. Everybody. It's just you would have to change a little bit. And I'm guessing that's kind of difficult for you who are watching this and I'm like, I don't want to change. Well, maybe you should sometimes. Some of the things you're participating in, you should change. ESP evaluation, it's not true. It is true. You don't have to trust me. There's studies about this, man. Like come on. I would reference them right here, but my phone is as you see it here. But anyway, it's starting to rain. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna be making some delicious lunch, which will, of course will be plant-based. And yeah, what about the people who benefit from a carnivore diet from certain health conditions? Jonathan, see, doesn't really matter. If I benefit from a certain diet that exploits others, it doesn't really matter. As long as I can get the same benefit from other places which are lacking that exploitation, then I have a moral obligation to choose to not exploit those individuals, okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Have an awesome day. Go vegan. Stop exploiting animals. Watch the 3-minute video. It's a link in the description of this video, okay? And I'll see you on Friday. We're going to be doing some cool things. Yeah, we're going to be doing some cool things on Friday, okay? See you, everybody. Just go vegan. Stop it with this needless thing.